learn Venacha, yeah? Okay, Venacha L'Baruch Hashem. So the Pasuk Haftarah goes through the Haftarah Eid Hayim B'nei Lamed speaks about his galus of El Mashiach. That is going to be where the Pasuk starts. It starts out that there's going to be a special. When he starts being the time Mashiach, so he says Venacha L'Baruch Hashem. This special spirit of Alakus is going to be shared on him. Ve'haricha b'yiras Hashem v'gar zayid v'keves. Mevarch muchad mura amar de Ramaskel zeh. So the Rebbe's medayik every word the Friedrich Rebbe says in this man Venacha. So the Friedrich Rebbe says in the Pesukim Eilu Metai Hanavi Bias Mashiach Satkenu Shiyavi L'Goleinu B'Meir B'Yaminu. So the Pasuk Pesukim is being retired Bias Mashiach Satkenu. Ve'emen b'zeh kamad v'adeh. And the Pasuk says a couple of things. Sai v'negia to describe Melech HaMashiach, Sai describing the Melech, and Sai kamet v'ara v'negia to the Anhag Mashiach, his leadership or his Anhag. V'tchila mevar ma'alas Melech HaMashiach atzmei. That's the so the figure attaches like this. Beginning of this Pasuk, Venacha L'Baruch Hashem. So that is Metar, the Maamar Mashiach himself, that he's going to have a special spirit, the Ruach Havai is going to be shared on him. And then, B'achak Mavar is Hanagos. V'arich B'yiras Hashem. So the thing of the words V'arich B'yiras in Pashtus, you can touch V'arich B'yiras Hashem, is that he's going to breathe Yiras Hashem. He's going to be durchgesagt with Yiras Hashem. That's V'arich B'yiras Hashem. But Yam also, if you touch V'arich B'yiras Hashem, means that he's going to be fully ongesabt, or he's going to breathe Yiras Hashem. So then these words for Yiras Hashem is also being metar the Melech HaMashiach. Not on Agos. That the words for Yiras Hashem is already being mevayer the Anhag of Mashiach. So what's hot to turn, but the fact that he's going to be Yiras Hashem is Anhag. So that as in the Segram, she can Varicha Yunim Banagos. The Meirach according to the Pshat of Chazal. That the way the Mashiach is going to be mad, the way it's going to be done, is going to be through smelling. He's going to be able to smell which Batin is saying the truth, which one is lying. So the idea of Arich of Yiras Hashem, which means that with his reach, he's going to be able to detect Yiras Hashem. So that's a Inin Banagose. This brings out the Tigla comes Maamar. If you look in the 4, it's a piece of movement, the Pashas, Mashim Besis by Maamar, the Meir HaChodai. The whole figure is entire, and it brings Tzuk in the Maamar. It doesn't bring Maamar Chazal. But Varich of Yiras Hashem brings the Maamar Chazal the Meir HaChodai. Speaker wants to bring out that Varich of Yiras Hashem is Inin Banagose. Why is it the gay here to be madgish that Varich of Yiras Hashem doesn't say?
That's the puzzle. The next puzzle we're going to have to also talk about is on how even if you don't see it.
Varich of Yiras Hashem.
It's all about how he's going to judge.
Varich of Yiras Hashem.
They continue to like the
Mair V'Yishpat, Mair V'Chiach, V'Shavak B'Tzadik Dalam. That's the Hemshachar, the Hemshachar Psukim. But that doesn't bring out that it's Yiras Havai. Doesn't bring out that it's a special Gidul Lukus that's Meir. Hayat Tzedek Ezer Maslav is bringing out his justice. When he said Varich of Yiras Hashem, so that the fact that his Anhag is based on the Indian of certain Gidul Lukus that's Meir. That's what's going to get to the Hemshach. Not Stam that he's going to have Achiz and Meis Figars Evin Keves. So this is interesting. If you go to Figars Evin Keves, so the Friedrich Rebbe says the Shanhagas Mashiach Tia Befim Gazeh Sheyiful Gidul Lukus B'Chol Hayom. That's interesting as that. In the Pashas of Figars Evin Keves is not a process being retired a third thing. There's being retired the Melech, being retired his pool in Vil, and regards to Ibn Keves being retired and what type of matzah the world is going to be lost about. The Friedrich is not like that. The regards to Ibn Keves is going to be a result of Mashiach's pool. Mashiach is going to be piled on the world as Am Yisrael of the regards to Ibn Keves. The fact that there's going to be peace between Malichayim, that's going to be a titzah, not some of the nest that's going to happen. That's because Mashiach is going to be piled. As Asher Gidul Lukus is also going to affect the Malichayim. That's an interesting thing. Hagas Mashiach Tivim Gazeh Shiur Gidul Lukus B'Chol Hayom. Lerek B'Sugim L'Darba L'Kam Sugah Chai. It's a even number. Afilu B'Sugah Dem. That's an uftu. It sounds like that Alerech we say that someone that's able to explain the Ma'al of Tzedek V'Yesher to people that are Lefi Erken. So that's one thing. You have Chassidus brings the Ma'al of Avraham Avinu that he was able to explain even to Arvim the Muslim Lukus. That means that his chachma wasn't limited that to be able to relate the idea that to the people that were Iyar. He was able to explain, of the Lukus, even to Arvin, which had no Keinsech on the So, Abraham also was only able to explain Gidei Lukus to people, even to Seichel, very low Seichel. But to explain to Baalei Chayim, that's the Nishgar. Mashiach is able to affect even Baalei Chayim. He'll have the abilities. Why is that? Because the type of Gidei Lukus is going to be made by him. The musik of Tzedek V'Yesha, the way it's going to be made by Mashiach, is not a constant Tzedek V'Yesha that's going to be limited, that will only be delivered to someone with Caleb. It's going to be the way it is inside the Lukus. And the Lukus is big full. The mail that's going to be able to be transferred, to be delivered, even to Baalei Chayim. Sie wollen echt erheben that to fight and the Ze'ev should eat up the Kevis is not correct. Sie wollen das erheben. That's the Shabbos going to be through Mashiach. He's going to be pearled. Also by them should be nirgash the emes of the Lukus. And then the Rebbe is not on even the Sugachai, which is a nit imi niflomai. The fact is that the type of Lukus which is going to be made by him is going to be a Zasar Leifin, which is not a limited musik, which could only be related to someone with kelim, it's able to be related to anyone, even to Baalei Chayim, but even more than that, will be able to even affect a doim mamash. Means even without any kelim, will be able to affect that they should sense the truth. That's the Rebbe saying. That's the meaning of nes. They're saying when we pray on sugadim. And saying nes is that it's anything which is not necessarily nicht verstanden. The Rebbe saying that azas was for a Gidei Lukus in the Meir by Mashiach, azas certain musik which doesn't have the hagbolis of a need for care in order to be taken. It's the Tchila Ini which is going to have an effect in every level of reality. There was nothing mass, but what type of Ini Lukus is. No, it's not that Goshim is not this. It's certain things that shake up every level of reality. So you have a certain concept that only a tifr svara only Chachamim Beilim could be taken. Something which is a more basic concept. All humanity can be taken. More people can be taken. Then there's certain things that are even broader than our basic concept. Even an animal has that awareness. Certain things and then there's certain things that every level of reality is going to be taken. It's in of amidas of people. There's something Maamar in this Maamar, first for a sort, what type of Gidei Lukus in the Meir Mashiach, which because of that will be able to affect every level of reality, even Dayamash, which has no kelim to anything. But the Rebbe saying the Gufeini, it's not. The word over here is that's all Teitzah Mashiach's pool. It's not going to be stam ze'emes. That even the diamond is going to be full of lukus. That's also going to be the way on first part of the lukus is Meir Mashiach, and that type of lukus doesn't have the limit and doesn't have the akbala that a diamond is not going to be affected by it. In this time there was nothing mas, but it was the nature of it, just to go for it. So this is neged this part the hemshchaman. So the yeshiva milk is polo ilam. Velek besug medaber legam besug hachay ze even on. Afilu besug adem mishmam shel because of kimol haaretz deyas Hashem shekam haaretz agash mistibule deyas Hashem. Pashat draman digest mol haaretz means the people. But the Pashat Sakra is that the Eretz Agash is going to be full of deyas Hashem. Okay. So the Rebbe brings let's see this here. So the Rebbe brings, that's a chiddush. So say what we can say that the pasuk Bar Zev and Keves is just being metayr, was as an evel, which is Mashiach. Not that that's going to be Mashiach's with. So the Rebbe brings it here to the Nach. The Rebbe brings it Yisod for this Pshat. The Rebbe to the Nach and Sefer Klipos. Klipos is the same mechaber of the Kliyaka. On the Chumash, he has Klipos or not. So dort sagt I dei bei jetzt sagen, was noch das hier because it because. So the form is about Mason. So is you must cause Maamar that it doesn't belong to Shloime. After that come the matzah of Shiur. The Shloime is not Shloime. The Rebbe touches race. The people mind doesn't. But the Rebbe touching race that the fact that the Rebbe gives us a Kaplan that this psukim read in Belch Shloime. It doesn't mention that this psukim is also speaking the way the world is going to be. Because even the end of verse in Kevis is a teitzah of Mashiach's pool. That's a second place from the so I saw that they have in the Pirish of the Klipos. The interesting thing there says in the Shalai Gillian, well, Hari Gambi Rambam because Malach say very Kedali. Dort sagt the Rambam the Yisak in Israel, which means the Mashiach is being Yisak in Israel. That's the Quran. And the Rebbe wants to make it right here. The Rambam also holds that the pasuk V'Garzev in Kevis is a Teitzah Mashiach's Pula. The Rambam says the Mashiach is going to fix the world, that there won't be Milchamas Bayil. Now, the Rambam teaches the Bar Zayim Kevis that it means Umas Eilam Yisrael. So the way the Rambam teaches the Pasuk, Mashiach is going to be the one that's going to affect the Bar Zayim Kevis. The Rambam learns the Bar Zayim Kevis going on people. Like it's Gringich Verstehen, but the Friedrich was teaching Bar Zayim Kevis K'pshidish because that it's going on the Zayim and Kevis. But you saw that the verb is a verb amazing, going back to the name before. The Ashkavan is an Rambam Shom Sakam Seil Musukam Medavin. That's a Rambam Bar Zayim Kevis Umosh. Sakapanim, the part the Pearl Rambam learns the Pasuk of Bar Zayim Kevis is Mashiach's Pul. So that's also, you saw, that's the, I have to see. What's the get the answer? That La'asid Lavi, the fact that the world's going to be an Aif, every person, Sai Balichaim, Sai the Daimon, it's going to be Mother Hashem, it's going to be through Mashiach's Pul. So that Bechura, the Hemshech is this one. There's a Daik by Maamar, it's Arach Lav, and Bekivin Shiaz Mother Hashem, Lami is not Chorma. If you say that Be'etzem, Balichaim are the same nature as now, the fact that because it becomes going to be a ness. If it's going to be a ness, it's not the pshat that the world changed, that the world sensed and realized that there's tzedek v'yeshu. It's in Inisi, the etzem, it's at their nature they would have been leichem, and mitzad a ness, they're being nice to each other. They're not fighting. So then you can still there's room for a melech. There's room for a melech in case it's this battle the ness, or in case there's going to be something that's going to happen shalek in the way. According to the Rebbe saying before, that the fact that Zmi Garza and Kevis is because they're going to sense the truth. Mashiach is going to be as Asrat Yid, which Elokus, the fact, the emes of Tzedek V'Yeshu, whatever Elokus stands for, is going to be in such a way that everybody will be able to sense this truth. So what do you need a melech for? If your person has Tzedek V'Yeshu in a way that every single person, the way Tzedek V'Yeshu is Meir through him, every person can register the importance of Tzedek V'Yeshu, then you don't need a king. You need a king if people don't register the truth, or people are affected by other factors. So you need a king in order for there to be shlita. But if everybody's going to hear the emes, Mashiach Hazan Yid, the emes is going to be sensed by every single person, or every single creature is going to register the truth. So what do you need a king for? If it's Derech Nes, then there's no internal change. Derech Nes, so can sagen that there'll be this battle in this. But here, the Kozman, he's there, and he's a person that his convictions are going to be neresh for everyone, because he's not a person that has Elokus is not married in a way that only people could sense the way he takes Elokus. Elokus is married in a way that affects every level. So what's it from That's the chura why it's going to get to the man. I understand. So then, you want to need a melech for. What do you understand? How is it that Mashiach is able to affect even that a stone is going to be sensitive to the Elokus, that there's a kavanah? Because the fact that the only reality is the Eibush, that there's a kavanah, it's not going to be made by him in a way that only seichel is. I'm saying is the fact that why tzaddik that him is mayor that the Elokus is true, and the kara that he has is menei from being chayv. Why can't that kara that he has also affect somebody else? Because the concept that he knows, you have to be a keli for that concept. It's a certain hakara that he has in the Elokus, and you have to be a keli for it. The tzaddik smayach, but his zir is a keli for the city. An andere mensch is not a keli for the city. That's all. If what type of Indian needs a limited thing needs keli. Every Indian has its properties, and there's certain keli which are a keli for this property. To see something, you need eyes. To smell something, you need the choshaleh. And a seichel, you have to verstehen a svar, you have to have seichel to understand. If Mashiach is going to have the Inyan of Elokus, the emes of Elokus, not in an unlimited way, which therefore every level of reality is going to be touched by it. So what do you need a melech for? The truth is going to be so bezgalus inside Mashiach that every level of reality is going to register this truth and register in a way that's going to change the way they behave. I'm saying if you have a teacher, that the nature of this teacher is that whoever's sitting in this class behaves. He's such a person that whoever's in his surroundings, they're affected by his values of, and so then you don't need a principal. Then you don't need someone to discipline. If Mashiach is a yid, that Elokus is mayor by him in a way that the way Elokus is mayor in his mitzias affects every level of reality. So what do you need? So you don't need his musik of a Moishel B'Shem. You don't need a melech. Elokus is married by him in a way that even a stone is affected by him. So what do you need a melech for?
Why do you need the melech aspect?
Yeah, I'm not saying why you need Mashiach at all. Yeah, why do you need a melech? The last time, why do you need the Poel, the Rambam brings the first definition of Mashiach is he's a melech. Melech Mashiach. So the Chura, the Pashas thing is why you need a melech is in order to people should deter, they should kalos amal shamayim. But if they're going to be in a way that Elokus is going to permeate them in Gansen, they're going to register the emes in a way that's going to change their behavior. It doesn't just say because the Ze'ev and Keves are going to realize the truth of Tzedek v'Yesher in a way that's going to propel their hug. Why? Is that as a result of Mashiach's pullet? If it's Azam man, is someone that he's able to go into a room and to affect every kid should want to behave. As Asert mentions it. He has the sprach to be able to relate the importance of learning to every single child. So for that, if that's the case, you don't need a principle. Or you don't need to ask people that he's about. Now, his man said that it says for a reason Baal Shem Tov used to, when he used to daven, so the Balei Chayim used to come and surround him and pick up their how you say their Hofstamm for him. And the figure and says it was that the tzitzis, the diamond used to move itself. You get it? Tzitzis. So there's a musa that that's not limited to a certain diet. That's why the Rebbe Mangish in order to verstehen besser the Shai. Leider haben wir zu leben, kippen Shias, weil er says, Lami is darf leben. Yeah, it's not that there's a way that's going to be Mishana than on Haga like it was before. So you know, why do you need milk? So could the Sabir be said that taking the fact when Allah is nicht dasselbe, I'm saying Pashas the Rambam calls Mashiach Melech, he means Musig of Melech Avi Pashtus. But even in Musig of Melech, I have a problem. The Chassidus in the Musig of Melech, there's a deeper meaning in Melech. Musig of Melech is not only that people should have made a bus of Adam, but it's a deeper meaning in Melech. Melech really nice nasus. Masha Melech Muvdul. So the good that the Rebbe is going to say is that Molar, as they Savaya, what the Rebbe is speaking about the Psukim say before is there's an Imam Shechin Yonim, which is they're going to sense the Elokus. And each level is going to sense the Elokus according to their tefillah. The Chayim, the Daimon, the fact that they're able to affect every level of reality according to his tefillah, to sense the Elokus. That's in the Nifla Mashiach. But Akapon is all in Opnimis. The Ufta of Melech is going to also be Mamshech, but Derech Makif, a Elokus that's higher than us. Let's get to that. That's the good that I'm getting the rest. So the Rebbe speaks of the Ashpa, Melucha is even nice nasus. Masha Melech, Mutlu, Berumam, all other relationships here, but Abba Talmud, the Abu Ben, every relationship is based on a kiru between the Elyon and the Tav. The Abba Talmud is that the Rav is trying to deliver something to the Tav. The Abu Ben is a certain kiru. Melech Va'am, the relationship is stated then that the Melech is removed from that. He's Shalei Be'erech higher than that. Removed from that. And the Am gets a chibur to Melech. It says that if the Melech is going to be Bekiruv, if the Melech is a person that's on the same league, the same level of the Am, then he can't be a Melech. And so in the Am you have a Schalkas, you have let's say people, Kavach people, Kavach people, this type, or Yana type, if the Melech is also relates to one of the types, so you won't be able to judge them objectively. He has to be fully beyond their product, their agdoros. The Melech can say, like a Melech is Menusa, is Merayim from the Gedana. גם הציוויים שלנו, שעושו לכל התנו the kilo, שהמלך מסקרי, besides the Melech himself, is Merayim of a nidl from the Am, the ציוויים, that means his ashpa, is ba'ef in the Reim Musmadal. But that is good observe. So the Melech has never miskari to them. Fakert, it's always nergash that he gives an order. That's the yachas of the Melech. Means what the Melech, what he is, the mashpia, the Elyon, what he gives from himself to the Tachton is that he's merayim from them. That's what he's giving. That's what he's giving them. Rabbi Talmud is trying to deliver that the Talmud be miskayed somewhat to the Talmud. The Melech is not trying to be miskayed that the Am should have a tefissim. They should realize his reimus. What he projects to them is his avdallah. That's what he projects to them. Das ist der Ashpa. Sein reimus, das geht er. That's the Rebbe Gosh. Even Simuy of the Melech is by the reimus avdallah der kudo gzeh. So the Melech, from his part, what is he mashpia to the Am? What's he being? What from him is being mayor to the Am, so to speak? That's his reimus v'avdollah. That's his mayor to the Am. That's his derech kudo. Why is he giving an order? Because what's mayor from him to the Am is his reimus. Is his hechel. And there's a mitzvah. Mashahim bekam mitzvah Melech. It's not that the Am is trying to be miskar. As he's on a line, verstehen the Melech, have appreciation for the Melech. the Yachas of the Am is, we said Mashim Kam Tziv HaMelech, or Lim, Pnei Shemir Masim Stam HaTzivli, Kim Tzad Giras, Ve'emes HaMelech. What's Nirgash in the Am is that there's someone that's beyond them. And the Mela, that was in his battle very friend. Not that they're trying to, capture people how much they can from the Eichus HaMelech. The Am's Yachas is that there's someone that's higher than their Asagis. And like that person, they have to give him his battle. That's the true mitzvah. So Simon said the Melech's kiruv to the Am is not that he's trying to make himself, relate himself and make himself available or in a way of kiruv to that. The kiruv, the Ashpa, besteht in them that they should have had Israelis. Israel was his mayor to them. His Abdullah is mayor to them. Al there is a mitzvah Am. Mitzvah Am, their kiruv is not that they're trying to understand and they're trying to become closer to the Melech. Fakir, the true of the Am is to their hair, the Reim was a Melech, had to be in his battle. Years Leben Samuel stehen was hier. Benimmt sich gam Hashpa Melech La'am, not only the Melech himself is Shalei Be'ele, but Hashpa, the Melech to the Am, is even this Nas as well. Zeo Hashpa, Shedin Hashpa, the Rav, Hashpa, the Melech. In Hashpa, the Rav, Mashar Rav, Niskar. Even though it says that the Rav is Be'in Arif to the Talmud. The Rav, the Moshe Chassidus of Rav Talmud. As I said, Rav Talmud, that the Rav is Be'in Arif to the Talmud. But the Hashpa, the Rav is not ascent to be Mashpia, Israelis, nicht wegen dem Netzer. The Rav, the whole Nekudah Shvar Rav Talmud is that I'm raised to Inarech, the Rav finds a way to there should be a link between him and the Talmud. A kiruv, that's what the whole Musik of Tzimtzum, the Rav finds a way to be miskarev to the Talmud. And so that's Misad the Rav, and the Talmud also, and the Talmud is verstehen. Not that the Talmud should be in the spot, that's not what the Rav is asking. The Rav is asking until the Talmud should stay in his mitzvahs. And the Rav tries to find a way to give over his seichel, but should be behesed to the Talmud. The Melech, even when he gives, stays movable from them. And it's more than that. The Melech is eisen the poil. When the Melech is not being mashpia as something which is the fear of them, he's mashpia as something which is higher than them. And the way they relate it is by being mavatal their seichel asad, by being mekabel il machas. So this Pashtim Veld, you have two types of Ashpas. And both are needed. You have a Musik of Ashpa that the Rav is teaching a Talmud. You have another Eichen that the Talmud should be aware that there's something beyond it. A person needs bittul also. Those are two important things. Even of Ashpa b'derech kiruv, and even of Ashpa b'derech bittul. So that's a hecher fadir. And the Gabi is asar, that from his battle of it. The Shirish of these two inyanim, Ashpa, the Rav, the Melech, will come b'ter. Okay, yes, but du machst dann Teil also these two in dann yes mit der Stab schon sehen. Ist verstanden? Das ist nicht mit Teil, was ist normal mehr sehen. Etz Material ist normal mehr sehen. And the way a person relates to the Etz Material is it's not about to the head that there's none which are harder than us. And to be this battle of it. That's the Etz Material. Also love is galu shnei ha'inyon. זה שמשיח בשם למה ובשם and the Yashpia, the Kulam, Tuf, Tam, the Das, the Seder, the Three. He's going to push a teach. Ilami. So that is Mitzad Hashpah, so Mashiach B'Shem Alav. He's going to teach. That's one. So that's an art and even of Hashpah. If you was lashon, Yashpia, Tuf, Tam, the Das, the Seder, the Three. Yehuba Atzmi Yasik Harbi Yesu Lein Ketz Mashiach Yashpia B'Asar. Everything verstehen Asach. And the Iyar, what is going to deliver in Ashpah with their Chasad. Ashpah did not have able to keep Knasmaki. People say Ashpah, the guy in Chafei this year, that there's the Seichel Ha'atzim of the Rav that's higher than Ashpah to the Talmud. But that also has an effect on the Talmud. But Derech Makif. So maybe Ashpah with Derech Makif. Does state in the Maamar of Derech Makif mean it's not an Ashpah, not that he's saying to get to Melech. Not that the Ashpah is in a way that's miskar. That the Makabel should have heard the Richur. That's the Ashpah. By a Melech, there's all that heard that there's something which is moved from him. But maybe she is battle. That's the so Derech Makif, not the start Ashpah. Not that the thing becomes Bikiruv to the Kliyam Makabel. So never adds Zavor, it's not Stam as I think of word, but it's a whole new Yesh Lo Hesed L'chura. Pia Yedua that Shalima that the Mashiach Mashilam is called Aham, he lived in the Riyah Shalman Masar. That Rebbe is with the Torah, that Shal how can Mashiach be mashpia? Lamed Torah, the whole Klal Yisrael, Shem Mamish be'in arech. There's Poshta mentioned the obvious. Mesha been there and Eden there for thousands of years. He misal every Yechon Chayil Choyos. All them mashpia everyone. The Torah says that Mashiach is going to call it Kol Ha'am, and the Lima is going to be an Eifin of Riyah, which is higher than Asad. So. Moving is that the Namshir Shir, if the Melech, in Nam Keila, She'enim Yechilim Lovi Begila, Afila B'riyah Shamad Mesek. So there are types, this is really all different. In Pashtus, when the Friedrich Rebbe speaks about that, there's a Mir Namshir is going to be Mashpia by Eifin Shel Hashpa like Rav, Eifin Pnimit, then there's going to be Yanash, Malakuzish Mashpia is going to be Mashpia, the Eifin of Makif. So with Pashtus, there's Yanash, the Talmud can understand. Hasaga. That's not going to be a you can understand it. And then there's things that are beyond understanding. Kenis is verstehen. When the Rebbe says here that even that Ashpa by even Pnimi is Kela Re'iyah, Re'iyah is not just a higher, more understanding. Then the Etzem, which is higher than understanding, is even higher than Re'iyah. Re'iyah is another in the Ganze. I'm saying when you speak about Hasaga, it means that you don't, the same in Pashtus, a person understanding something or seeing something. When a person understands something, so you have the Indian according to the way your tape is the Indian. The person has his way of understanding. And the way he understands the concept, that's the way he has the concept. The Musik Moshe is not seen for him. It's the way he's tape is. The way your brain captures the Indian. When a person sees something, you don't see something according to your sense, the way your tape is the Metzias. The Metzias Kameshu is shown to you. The reality, the way it is shown to you. And two people see one thing, the truth is they're seeing all the same thing. Because by Riyah, the fact that my knowledge of the Indian is not based on my tfisa, according to how much my seichel was able to tap into the Indian. By Riyah, it's the Metzias was shown to me. So the knowledge is based because the Indian is Megillah, because the Indian showed itself to me, not because my seichel was teifis. If when you're understanding a svara, that it's according to how much you have the ability to understand, so you're not taking the Indian issue, only behesed how much you're teifis. The reality is open. The reality is open, and therefore you see. So when you speak in Darge, in Havana, so when you speak about Ayizgal, Elokus in Seichel means Elokus comes in Caleb. Elokus comes in Metzias. Different Darges of Caleb, in Caleb. But it's the way the God, of Gdulas Hashem, let's say, is this God that through a certain Metzias, that you're able to grasp it. Mashiach in the ear that the Eibush is Gdula Kamei who is this God. Not that there's Metzias Ha'adam, let's say, and there is Azar Dargah Gidei Lekos, according to how much my Seichel is able to be taken. Gdulas Hashem. Many Dargahs in Seichel Basar. But it's all in the book. The Gdulas Hashem, the way it is Be'etzem, the way it is bleakful, that can be made in Seichel. But a Metzias cannot be Teifis, the Musik of God, the Gdulas Hashem, the way it is Be'etzem. Re'iyah is that they're Indian back this God. So the fact that it's going to be that the Mashiach is going to be God, Malamet Torah and Eifin of Re'iyah, in Yonah L'Kuz is just higher than Seichel Asag, higher than Kili. And that Rebbe touches, that's on Nichla in the Hashpa of Rav. Because that's not Melech. Melech is that advice that people do Vashtis Nish. It's with their Havdalah. People do Zes Nish. The Havdalah of Re'emes. Re'iyah is that the thing is being shown to you. It's being Nizgal. Just not in your Kalim, higher than Kalim. But it's also in the Kalim. So when the Rebbe adds that the fact that Mashiach is Malamet Torah Rav is also none of Re'iyah, so let's get another Biur when they get to the Namash, which are going to be Nimshach and Mitzat Melech. It says, movements that the Namash Shpir, even the Melech, when Namash Shpir, Yechilim Love, Gilui, I feel Re'iyah Shalom Mesech. Means, in a general way, they're higher than Gilui. The Rebbe later in the Maamar that's none of Etzem. Gilui is also certain things which should come and could be expressed. Not expressed in Kalim, but can be expressed beyond Kalim. But things that can be expressed. Then there's Etzem of because they're just higher than expression altogether. That's Beifin Kovetz. There's Hasagi is a Lukus and Mislabish B'Kelim. Then there is a Lukus which is higher than Mislabish B'Kelim, but it's also Nizgal in the Tnuah. Let's say the fact that Eibush is bleakful, which is also a certain Tnuah. Then there is the Etzem which is higher can be expressed in any Tnuah. And that cannot be, that's not exactly Meshpi in the way of this is the Lashon. Tzazim Sheikh Yigam Melech, Yigalu Yisrael Gam Yanamir. But that's not, but as around a certain Gilu. Not Gilu in the regular way that you're going to sense this in you. And even of Makif. I'll say that's the Rebbe's Maamar of Tavshel Avav. There's a Musik of Ashpa with Derech Makif, which is a different form of Ashpa. There's a different I'm just saying the concept, a different way of delivering din. It's not delivering din in a levush of gilui, not even a levush of gilui, just a real amount of masil, and not just certainly. When you're going to get to the melech, that he's the am is sensing something. They're sensing how far it is. They're not sensing it in which is the kibbuh. How far the melech is. Okay. Oh, Mam Shabbat Maim. The whole ein Ashpot, the Rab in Ashpot. The Rab on the Maim. Mam Shabbat Maim is that both of these Ashpot, side Ashpot, side the Gidul, which is Gilim Shachneifen of Gidul Vasod. Side, Shabinim Shub Derech Makiv, the Amshach Etzem, but Dafka, the Akdomas Abed is not goals. That's a Chiddush. That's up in order 17. It means, first of all, the Hafgosh that says in Tanya, that the Alter says in Tanya that what's the Lashon? The Gilei V'Asid Love is totally Masena by the Seder Meshach Managos. Pashas Yutay is not. Whatever doesn't mean to say that Dafke Veitens Managos is Mamshach the Gilei V'Asid Love. Teda Mitzvah is Mamshach V'Asid Love. That's the Pashas Yutay. The Alter is speaking Managos. The Alter now we're holding after the Chum Baishin. The next stage is basically the Rebbe says, "Masei Masei Meshach Managos." The Rebbe tells every word is Mudif. The Davke that Veitens Managos is Mamshach this union. Means Teda Mitzvah is an Abai is what Nish Mamshach event. This Gibri. Davke that Veitens Managos. So now it's a Chiddush. That there was Muslim in each prat. Side the union of Lukus, the union of Makif, the union of Melech, is Davke is Managos that Veitens Mamshach is Mamshach Makif, and even the union of Vasog of Seichel of Re'iyah. That's the union of Zman HaGolus. Hagan, when it comes to the union of Re'iyah, or Asoga, L'chora, that's because Zman HaBayis. That's the basis. L'hoven HaShem Shloime Zman HaGolus, like Gilei V'Asid. It's Maktim Ba'amayim. Which means that Geidel V'Di, the Elam Zman HaGolus, Speaker of Zman HaGolus, and Derech Nitzach. Li is Chosem Kimat HaMitzvah B'Pel Mamish. Li is Chashet Im Shum Menei Amad. We learned this several minutes. The difference between Netzach and the other mitzvahs. So there's Chesed, Bura, the Feres, and then there's Netzach. What's the difference between Netzach and Chesed, let's say? So people think sometimes that you see, someone, a person that's in Yeshiva world. So let's say a Bacher is, so one Bacher is more of a Shem Raspa. Someone else is less. So what's the reason? So I'm home making because he has less of a feeling towards stuff. He doesn't appreciate the place living the Chassidus as they start. Someone else appreciates the Chassidus. The evidence is not like that. The person has a very strong feeling towards something. But in order for something to come out of Be'el Mamish, you have to have a certain takeif, which the regish itself doesn't have. That's another midah. There's a person appreciating a concept, and his nefesh is full of emotion towards a certain concept. In order for a person to actually be mekayim with Be'el Mamish, or his areas that he has in his nefesh, you have to have a certain takeif that when a person is coming to do something, Lepel is always menis v'yikuvim that could block the hagel Lepel. In order that a person's netiyah chiyuvas towards something should we say to actually live like that, Lepel Mamish, a person needs a certain takeif. That when you decide something, you can go for it till the end. That takeif is midas hanetza. That's not that the feeling is powerful. Feeling is powerful is that you appreciate the concept very much, and it touches your nefesh in a very deep way. Touches your nefesh in a very deep way. It doesn't have to do with following out with Peil Mamish to the Hayrish Sheini. Peil Mamish is certain that's there is Mamish right away. There's a bit because there's some time ago to the Derech Nitzachim. These chazim commentary with Peil Mamish means the good Derech Nitzachim is not the takeif, which in order to bring the Peil Mamish what you want, what you decide. And the Tnuit, what you do to take it, that you do it the Peil Mamish, actually to carry out the union. That's a certain kibbutz of that's it. And Bechlolos, so that's Nesa Bechlal. In Zman HaGolos, the Regesh itself is nicht genug. Or we kenish durchführen mit the Regesh allein. Person needs to have a takeif that the Peil is going to do what's right. The Gemara says that. The Peil Mamish, not to take it to the Peil Mamish to do what's right. The Dveikus HaNefesh to the Indian is weak with HaGolos. And what's against the Iyar of this Anagolas is that Lepayel, my life is going to be that way. What's the connection to System Shalom Tamadas? In the System Shishim Shak Vetari, Kim Shi F Shaklal, Li is Venacha. This is the Gedel Atayk. Midas Anetza can be different. Define the take. Person can have the take of Midas Anetza, not in a way that he's going to have a strength to push away minor ups the Midas Vikut. But this has a take that nothing is going to stop him. He decided to do Torah and mitzvahs to be a Yid from Kabbalah Ma'ashanayim. Nothing in the world is going to stand in his way. So that's the take of the Seder Dach. The way, it's not that he's going to be mischashiv according to the Tashim Seder Dach. I thought it says in Tanya that it's not the Pshat in the Chavez Sagai goes and tells the Yid that Bimachal Shabbos or Erev Yisrael. So the fact that the Yid's mentioned everything because he makes a cheshbon that it's more worth it to give away his life than to live with the fact that he was living the Zah. What's wrong with the cheshbon? But a Yid, it's not part of, there's no discussion. He's not detaching himself from the Eibush. Not detaching from the Eibush is not part of the equation. It's not a part of the cheshbon. Not that he makes a cheshbon that's more worth it than that. That's Iyar Shekla. Certain things are not up to discussion. This is where I am, and it's not that I have to be mischashiv every matziv, whether this Indian is more worth than that Indian. This is where I am. To take me away from this, there's nothing to happen. So that's a takeif, which is not based on Tamadas. It's beyond reason he's connected to this Indian. And that's the chlolos, that's the Riddas Vanagolas. The Efshekali is Venacha. That's the Amitis HaTakeif. Not Stam as a person has a takeif that he's going to carry out the chlod. He's connected to this Tapel Mamash, and nothing's going to take him away from it. So it's not enough of regish or seichel. So takeif which is beyond seichel. Let's start reading it. So why is this a biur that this is just Agdom? So there isn't a fact number prati is much better in Midas Anetza. And why is Managolas you need that Midas Anetza? And then he's going to explain why what's how to Satan with why Dafke this Aveda is Mamshir Bashbar. So Hitler and Read remember prati is why the Aveda is Managolas is Dafke this type of Aveda and is Manabai is this Shiur. In you is Manabai so you call Yisrael Madrigal again. Today was a Shei Bali Asad of the Ilo in Bali Yosem so that's Asad verstanden. In Bali Yosem the Regel heute erst und gar mir hier bei der Kuschelmann besser. Ich kann schon schon mal schon Iyar. Hashem Shabbat Iyar is Kaplan is not real. Besides the fact that they showed themselves in the Beis Hamikdash, they also saw Gedelikos in every year. So Shing is Managogos Ksi Vani Shing. God is connected to Shiur. That's connection sleeping to God. Commission Shing Bishop. מסעמם כל כך הפנימיים, מסעמם לכך השכל. שבעיס השינה מסתר לכך השכל, ונשאר על לכך המדע. מסתר לכך המדע. So when you get לכך השכל, so he starts being that where do you see the first unit of this alma? A person is supposed to sleep, so his nefesh is not fully effective in his guf. The first place where you see it is in Keich HaSeichel. Masal Keich HaSeichel. That B'shas Keich HaShina, that there's only a very, we say, chitzenistic part of Keich HaSeichel that's nishar and effective in the person's system. Keich HaMadam. Keich HaMadam is also because of the concept that you saw in your brain. The person's not going to imagine in his dream or in his things that was never nitfas in his mouth. Concept you have in your mouth, so the Keich HaMadam works in different, so that's a relation with the Keich HaSeichel. The male, that's what it was mentioned. Ikarais almos from Sadashinu Kecharia. The main is almos. When a person sleeps, the main thing that gets shut down is Riyah. As all the other kechas are weaker, basically. Very, very weak, basically. Not full shutting down. It's just weaker. So Ikarais almos from Sadashinu Kecharia. Va'ad shezenikir gam be'evli aguf shebe'is hashina nizgor b'maynai. Making a machine in the goal was a similar get to the same young, or these two young. Iyar I have the goal so much was on a ghost there, because that Chal doesn't exist. The Iyar, of course, that a person should tell because it's Meir Pashit. That Chal doesn't exist. The Dugmas that when they get the Shina, there is not the Pshat that seeing is weaker as Manashim. That doesn't exist. The person doesn't see as Manashim. Hearing a person's Keich HaShmiya is effective bizman hashina. Re'iyah doesn't exist at all. There's beruchnis, ikar ham the golus, there's no re'iyah. Not the pshat, the re'iyah is in the shracher way. So shracher re'iyah, it's a similar re'iyah, there is no re'iyah at all. And then nachazar, kam asaga b'lukus, asaga, you do have zman golus. Kam eshtem, b'lukus, gadus Hashem, kayetzim. But the asaga is Shloime be'erech weaker than the way it was with Anabais. In the be'erech klal, the asaga is not Anabais. But actually, asaga is not a gold, the asaga is not Anabais, so the dugmas keach ha-medam shibashim. It's be'erech klal. Now, the klal is that the person's regish towards the lukus is behesed to the way a lukus is, the way he understands it, the way it's Meir was meant. You get everything. The midas are always behesed to the level of awareness you have in the concept. The more thorough you have fun in the concept, the more thorough you midas are. This is the klal. So since it's not a golus, re'iyah b'chlal had punished. Even the asage, the understanding is also like this imagination the guy's bias. There's not a real thorough understanding. So there's the Iyar, not goes in the boy. Even those that have Iyar, it's not all the same. Besides the Iyar, which is a tzah of and according to how much a person is, how much yidi has the lukus is also in the boy. Neislos, there's not a goal. You have to be us. The Rebbe is nice like this. Neislos is that do like this when they get to asage, when they get to the yidi as Indian that there's two in yon. B'shas hashina and zvan golos re'iyah b'chlal doesn't exist, and the asage is shvach. So al derez when they get to yid's regesh to lukus, there is a certain type of yachas to lukus which exists in the nice which we don't have altogether today. And then even what results from asage is also in the shvach. So it turns out this. Neislos is zvan golos yev shali is a bittul ishtachava. This is also these pratim. We'll see later some pratim when they get. Later. Neither is not a godless yesh shali is built as tachaba. So in this shlab, there was spoken before that the shpa of Rav is kail re'iyah and asag. They were saying that re'iyah v'asag is not a gospel is re'iyah b'chal doesn't exist, which is the main thing Mashiach is going to be teaching without the way the Rebbe brought is in of re'iyah. And asag also shleiber. Now it became after there was an agos in Mamshah. The names l'chora don't exist at all. So this is again this word that re'iyah that we don't have re'iyah at all and asag is also shvach. We'll see that. So in Tzadzik Alav Yishma goes like the way is going to go say Shchava, which is called the bittul pnimi. In order to have the bittul Shchava, but that can be tzad or re'iyah b'lukus. Shkoso the ein on yichilim lalis with the roish l'shtach mistvana. Why can't we go up and be mishtach? Who's stopping? Go up and be mishtach. You say that we can't go into it to solve nachazah. Why can't we bow down? So Alav says that you can bow down technically. The avodah mishtachava we cannot have this man of Kiman she'ina nechilim lalis v'leirois the mele nechilim gam mishtachava is from this bittul pnimi. Bittul pnimi is means this common problem. Bittul pnimi is that first of all that the bittul is mitzad the pnimi solukus. If a person's whole yachas the lukus is according to his understanding. When it's based on a saga, so you don't have the Indian commercial, it's not big deal. You have the Indian, the way a lukus relates to your understanding. Mitzad that darga, so there's a tfisa smokim to your mitzias. There's a person mitzias, and a lukus is mere according to how much you're able to retake this. So if you're so it's a darga lukus which is able to be niskabel in your mitzias. It's able to be niskabel in your mitzias, so it's not a darga which is shaylo the person's mitzias. Fakir, we're talking about a darga lukus which Seder can understand. So that's not going to be pile. There's kriya could be even as not kriya means that a person kriya al differently found him a ban, or he's a kaif relation. So what's the kaif relation? What does that express? That you're bowing to someone because you recognize that he's greater than you, and you recognize you have to be kaif yourself for him. But kaif doesn't mean that you become a smash. Your mitzvah has a shivas. Yener is hecher for you. But your Metzias has value also. Shtachava means that Reish v'regel b'ashva. That means that my whole tzir kaima has no value at all. If the regel hat kin shivas, and the Reish is the same darga as the regel. So that could only be if it's meir the primis v'lokos, which the gabi that darga, the seichel ha'adam has not fizas smoke. Only in re'iyah is that even kimir. In re'iyah, so it's not that a person's tevis v'lokos behes into how much his Metzias is being tevis. The Indian commercial who be'etzet is meir. So mitzad the pnimis of Alakus, which the gabi that darga, there's no fizas magam to the Metzias Adam. Mitzad that darga, which has das leh, so there's no fizas magam to the seichel of his Metzias. So fall drauf and flow. Raise your leg, last flow. If there's no din over here, that means just the whole heritage of the is according to how much your mitzvah is your So it's a darga of which is not shelo the glam of your mitzvah. It's behesem to your mitzvah. So it's a darga, so it's is an under certain bit. So first, the kima shem nechelum la this video is mechanas no bittul pnim, which is nevei mitzadri. Gama bittul chitzaim, bittul dechri. That means the hakor. The lokus is great. Amitzad the gedulas Hashem dachten sich aveged. Even that bittul is which wasn't said the service lokus. She yesh b'chos kamas v'anag olus ini kedibur. Why? Because the asag is not kima shagama asag lokus b'shman olus in asag amitis. So we made Ikra with the and he's there saying, according to this beer here, not mitzvah Alav is the additional nisyonis. You can't rely on asag because asag is not thorough, it's not real. You can't base your avodah on something which doesn't have real gesunte fis. There's man bias they saw the union and their asag was the thorough asag, so they can base their avodah based on their asag. Mashiach is man golos. What's more real to a person is mitzvahs. The lukus is Meir, it's not vague eifim, if you understand the advice. So a person can't base his avodas Hashem based on a vague fist that he has no lukus. So so what's the avodah? That even though he has the little understanding that he has, his connection to it is with a takeif that nothing's going to take him away from it. Not the takeif is not from midas havana that he has. The takeif is beyond the midas havana that he has. He will not be there in as kein Zafat is not going to take him away. Und er sagt, weiter, was man goes go mit der im smarte am Mechen Balbos. Gemein Zal, die is how much their leave was besor. Ono kim lei nekev machat sitkis. Means a dot. Now this is already the matzah of Adam Mitzadat. The leave of Nei Yisrael is going as Am Yisrael Taksham or such a low matzah that we're not caleb to be Margish Shulchus. But mainly you can't base your Veitz Hashem based on the fact that the Lukus is understood by you or felt by you. But the frat, now there was Mesa Nachabah. So what's the Muslim mitzvah? The Muslim is the same to get to the marshal or the regular case. The mind of someone that has midas hanetzach in a stronger way it's not that his midas chesed is stronger. Is that the little feeling that he has towards it, the little netiach that he has, nothing's going to take him away from. Nothing's going to take him away from. Someone can have a deep feeling, but lapel mamish he's not going to act on it. Masha'inkin, the mind of netzach is that the little tnuah that's there it has a power. The pile has to take it, not to take it from the legish. But take it the pile mamish, nothing's going to move him away. So the pile, since in Zanagolus we don't have the legish, that from onkommen hat er. So to weiter, so we found the dikus in the shikha, besides for the smart amecha, there's a lamas vestadium. A lamas vestadium, so if a person is going to go according to Cheshbainis, we're saying why need Mesiras Nefesh? Tilma, the Rebbe is saying Tilma, the Rebbe is speaking against Managolus. The etzach in of Netzach, Lab Dafka in Netzach, there's different diaries in Netzach. Here there is being Mesid, there's a lamas vestadium. And the male in this time, a person needs to have not to mischashiv with anything. But take it without Bechlal starting to financial claim where he's going to devote, where he's going to be irrigant and where not. From there, we think in the Shiur in the slab of Lamas Vestadium. Nesel is in the smart Amech. The Chem is Manazan, the Gear 8 days, in the Saham Shasnam Shaman Batabatas. The Gam have in Meichen and Tzem Achshav Tzrich Maniach Sichlom, the Lilach Achra Tamatas. So the Seichel, Hefshel, Lintis, Chos Shalom, and Erechenes. And not only the Seichel is Shvach. They're saying because it's Lamas Vestadium, so a person, if he's going to base according to his understanding, the whole seichel is not going to. There's such strong misayers that a person that could take a person away from the heavens. What he has to have the takeoff that comes from his previous anefesh. A takeoff that comes from that he's a yid and and the fact that he's a yid is not going to move kiketz shiyut from shcholach. He's not going to mix in chedbenis. Like lamit chazak shlit chazak shama shcholach and kiketz shiyut aved der tzachim shesnev shalom nasa. That's the Nekuda this Nekuda is very strong by Richi's side, the Maamar of Kovetz question test. In this Maamar there is also the Maamar of Amar Beishia. One of the Rishi Chassan is Tzidkas Perzeina B'Yisrael. One Maamar Topper Spitas. So there is a stronger difference. That's it. Here, we'll just see the Nakud, even though this needs a little beer, but we'll just see the Nakud episode. Thomas the Shayla Besser, the Agog was killing a Helen Besser, Dark Dickus in the Shiur, Rack is a premium nation, but they'll be the Senate. So if he goes back in the mind, but if you share Shanetz, we'll get some nefesh. It's saying is what we can't learn, that the reason why in Zman Agog was Shalom is stated when you get Keiches, the Keiches nefesh, when you get the Netzach, is because there's only Alav is stated on higher Keiches. In Iyar, there's no Gilid there. Midas and Netzach, when you get to Zman Agog, Midas and Netzach is that even though he doesn't have a deep asada, and I got Hadish Kinriya, look, Poel Mamish has to take it, and nothing's going to stop. But Figure says a different beer why Midas and Netzach there's no limits for Simas Anagolas. Because the Helmas Managolas cannot, nothing could block Midas and Netzach. Since Netzach is Mushish and Etzem Nefesh, Etzem Nefesh is not Mugbal at all, nothing could cover up Etzem Nefesh. An Indian Mugbal could be Misalim or could be covered up through Allah's Vestir. An Indian of Etzem, which is higher than Gili, which is much far beyond the Gedalim of Gili, so nothing can block it. Fakir. Not that the reason why Midas and Netzach don't be Midas, because Midas and Netzach doesn't contain Inyanim of Gili. Pashas say, even though Gedol Kus is not Meir, a person can have a take of Pel Mamish to do what the Eibishter wants. The take of the Mamish definition only to them that select that it's not of Kus. So because select is not of Kus, you say a person is first there's a limit stated, so the more intense ruchnistic things are besounds. But things which are not ruchnis, the things which are more chitzanistic things, so they can still be light, even though say a very dim light could be nimshah. Figure says not like that. The etzem mitzad is the Alav stadium, so the goals the Alav Hester, which inside the nature of the Alav Hester should totally detach it from the Eibishter. The Alav stadium of goals. And the fact the schnishes of Seichel Amidis should have been in a way the mitzad Seder Dach a person should be totally detached. The reason why there's Midas and Netzach, there's the takeif, not to Poel Mamish, not to leave, even though the Seichel is not a Shloime, Poel Mamish black the Farbunden, is because Netzach is connected to the Etzem. This takeif that Poel Mamish can do what's right is because Mitzad Etzem and Nefesh, his connection to Lukus is not based on Seichel Vasad. It's beyond Seichel Vasad. And this type of takeif, Helamis can block it. This is what Figure says. Just finish this in the morning. So no, but Sumayas and I just want to finish this prat. The Bible says, "Don't you share this with Etzem and Nefesh." The K'meikin or the Mailo sheshei leshan Netzach or Primis Hakes. No, that's it. And we'll see this next time. Punkt is when you get to Nefesh Adam Bechlal. Netzach is in Primis Nefesh. There is a Mailo, so there is Chacham, there's Esses for this. And the Sheresh of Netzach is the Primis Hakes. You say, why does it negate over here? Sheresh HaNetzach is the Primis Hakes. So, that in the Maamar of Shiur, the figure was Meirach in this prat. That the fact that the Eivish is being Mavatal, the whole Indian of Nitzach and Mavatal Menagit, that's Moshe Shenetzach. So that brings the Nakud over here also. The Punkt is Vilamata. The Midas and Netzach, the Poel Mamish is Meskaber over Lomas Vested. Is Moshe and Primis Hanefesh, there is a Lamailo, Sheresh Hanetzach with Primis Hakes. Primis Hakes, the Shech in Nashim. Okay, we'll see this when we finish the song. I mean, the point, there's come a the point that the Rebbe is saying is, the reason why the figure is the get, Mimadish this, it's not Ezgit, the figure of Hemshech is not Ezgit etched, the Hemshech Hanetzach. The Rebbe is explaining here, Pashat Hemshech Hanetzach. He wants to explain why two in we said before the Mashiach is Mamshech, Melech, and Rav. This Shlab is explaining why Venacha Zman HaGolos is Mamshech the Inin of Melech. Because Zman HaBayis is Meir Tak Inin of Gilui. So Gilui, Tak Lukus comes to Gilui. That was the Iyar and Asag was Meir was Zman HaBayis. But the Inin Atzmi of Lukus is higher than Gilui. Not the Lukus expresses itself in Mitzias. The Lukus is Be'etzem, that Dafkin Nimshach through Venacha Zman HaGolos. Because Midas HaNetzach is Moshe and Primis HaNefesh, which Primis HaNefesh is connected to Primis Shalmayit. So that could have been the Midas HaNetzach was Mamshech Primis Nefesh Megili, which as a result is Mamshech the Etzem Megili. It's not even of Gili, so that's the first. But that doesn't explain yet why Venacha is Mamshech in Navasog Megili.